At Vibra Finance, we seek out the hidden gems in cryptocurrency. We will tailor your portfolio to work for you. Are you ready to transition your investments from traditional markets to cryptocurrency? Are your coins staked and earning interest? Are you overwhelmed with all the jargon in crypto? Is your portfolio underperforming and you want to reposition into consistent winning blue chip coins and viable projects? Do you feel like you missed out on DeFi, Metaverse, and NFTs? Here at Vibra Finance, we provide you with the data, skills, and tools you need to stay on top of the digital asset market. Vibra Finance. We are the future of crypto.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Vibra Live. Awesome Friday. Charts aren't looking too great right now. Heck, cooled off a little bit, but what goes up must come down, and let some other people get entry points that might have missed it. All them non-believers, let them get in at good entry points. So let's get into it today. If you guys aren't subscribed, follow Vibra Finance on Twitter. Starting to use the old Twitters now. Trying to be more active on there. Definitely like it. Definitely starting to like it the more I use it. But let's check out the weekly. There we go. Kid, don't want to see Hex in red. Mask doing some things. I was looking at that actually a couple months ago, but never ended up pulling the trigger. I'm all set on that. Let's see what's moving on the hour. EOS. Look at that. Near protocol. Pretty much nothing going on, guys. Bitcoin, starting to turn around. Looks like it was heading back up. Whoa, where is Bitcoin? There we go. Heading back up around 28. Perfect. If we can hold 27, 28, I'm good with that. Hopefully we should have an alt season in the next month or two here. Once we get some more, hopefully, Pulsechain related news. As we see, Hex has fallen out of the number 6 spot, but that's all right. We can live without that. Bouncing back with XRP. I mean, we're within $1 billion. So as soon as we get back to 10 cents, 9.5 cents, that's no problem. We can pump up to 10 cents way before XRP is hitting 50. So, but you never know. The lawsuit could settle. You never know. What's up, Godfather J6? Appreciate you stopping in. HOA, my man Mobius. What's going on? Love the Texan there. Love it. Texan Permabull right here. So I want to talk about a couple things today. And, the first article, this is important. You have Gary Gensler refuses to wax his gross hairy back. Didn't see this one coming, but as the old bait and switch tactic from the SEC. Well, Gary Gensler sued Coinbase. Yes, we know this week. The bait and switch was simple. Come get registered, he cried, pointing to an SEC entrance that says free puppies and ice cream in room 101. The switch was equally simple. A Wells notice for the firm explaining the SEC intends to sue Coinbase over several matters, including its staking service and assets listed on the exchange that the SEC alleges to be securities. So Brian Brooks, he's fighting this to the death. Kraken knew how to register. Others knew how to register. It's just a form on our website, he said when Kraken settled over their own staking program. But this is really funny. Brian Brooks, they met with the SEC 30 times trying to figure stuff out, saying, hey, just give us laws, no matter what they are, and we'll comply to them. Tell us what's a security or not. We'll take them down. So this is, I think this is honestly, guys, just a big distraction. It all is, because the banks are pouring into crypto right now. The banks are building out all of their infrastructure. If you look at Fidelity, they have a business account now that you can start and trade crypto inside. But that's not mainstream news. What I think is going on is the banks are all under NDAs. They're going to start acquiring these smaller banks, bringing in new customers, and those new customers are going to get met with brand new crypto options. And they'll have their Uniswap V4 built out. They'll have their deposit tokens that are interoperable with each of their own exchanges or whatever they're going to be. And there'll be a one-stop shop, and that's going to bring in kind of retail mass adoption. And the SEC is going to continue to urge us to be cautious with crypto securities. The SEC has urged us to be cautious. The agency's Office of Investors Education and Advocacy warned that platforms offering crypto trading may not be complying with federal securities laws. Just more FUD. The law requires such security broker dealers, investment advisors, and exchanges to register with the SEC. The warning comes obviously after the Wells notice and Coinbase's stock dumped down 20%. But Kathy Woods might have knew that was coming. She sold a big chunk of it right before the news came out. And also, too, a lot of Coinbase employees dumped a lot of shares right before this news broke. So they all knew this was coming. This is not a shock or a surprise to anybody working there at all. No, more FUD. And then, this is actually a great article, though, telling the truth for once. Bitcoin and Ether take SEC crackdown on the chin. This is just constant bad news. SEC suing literally the biggest exchange in the United States right now, and it did nothing to the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum. They don't react to bad news anymore. We're starting to enter into a new time where this stuff isn't just keeping prices suppressed. This FUD is not working anymore. People are now seeing through the nonsense. Texas and Florida both now saying we are not going to allow CBDCs in our state. This is a polar opposite view of where they were just 6 months ago, even. So cool, so this is the great point. Bitcoin and ETH both held their ground as Coinbase disclosed it received a Wells notice. The cryptocurrencies clawed back their losses, climbing 4 and 4.7% on Thursday. And Coinbase's stock, on the other hand, immediately sank 20% on news of the Wells before recovering slightly. Bitcoin and ETH are up more than 20% over the last month, coinciding with the failures of Signature and Silicon Valley Bank. China's ban on Bitcoin triggered, this is what in May 2021, China's ban triggered a huge downtrend. We're seeing big demand coming in from institutions. Gulman Shatian, head of institutional sales at Coinbase, said during a fireside chat at Paris Blockchain Week on Thursday. Hedge funds want to take advantage of the volatility. They're telling us right there, but it's so subliminal and it's so small. You have to dig through all the nonsense to find the few good sentences. Like the other stream I was talking about 2 days ago, and the last sentence of one of the articles talking about how this is going to replace bonds. Institutional staking will replace bonds as a significant portion of institutional portfolios. And that's at the same time as staking is banned for us. They're now rolling it out for institutions and making it legal. So this is, I think the whole Ripple lawsuit was all just to slow them down because their technology was so far ahead. And it's sad to see all these banks out of desperate measures all meeting together and saying we need to come to, they'll lie to each other, go behind each other's backs. But when it comes to making money, all right, we got to band together, but not at each other's expense. And it's crazy. It's so corrupt, but that's why I keep stressing to stick with decentralized finance. If you want to front run this stuff and make money on it, that's great. But you need to get your stuff off exchanges into hardware wallets and just used to doing it that way. Staking, thinking long term, thinking 10, 15, 20 years out. A lot of these cryptos right now that nobody's talking about, these are going to be the new Microsofts, the new Apples, the new Teslas in 20, 30 years from now. These cryptos aren't going anywhere. These are the new asset class that when you go to take a class in college in 20 years and take a business class, they're going to be talking about these blue chip cryptocurrencies, in my opinion. And right now is the time to just of what I can afford. I throw a little bit in, move it to my ledger, throw a little bit in, move it to my ledger, and just forget about it. And after a year, 2 years, 3, 4 years, you start building bags up. And in the future, we're never going to have these entry points again. We have proof that all the banks, everybody is coming into this. They're flooding in, where they're telling us subliminally, hedge funds want to take advantage of the volatility. So you're telling me they're not going to create volatility? They're not going to go out and stir these markets up and FUD out people that are on the fence or don't know what's going on? Now, I got so many messages over the last couple months about Hex and staking and exchanges, and it's all to get those people that aren't in this every day like we are to get scared and sell their bags and then come back in 2 to 3 years and buy it from your bank. That's the plan, in my opinion. And there was some massive FUD this morning about Binance shutting down. They have a severe withdrawal impact. There was a huge fuss about this, and guess what? It's resolved now. Everything is back in order. And this whole bull run, like I've been saying, it's Asian driven. You got to look, if you're focused on the United States, what's going on here, how bad everything is, you need to look outside the world and see that Asia is in QE right now. And they're spending money. They're injecting liquidity into the markets, and that's going to funnel its way into crypto. They're going live with retail trading in Asia, in China, in Singapore. It's going live this summer in July. So that's going to be a massive shift. And the markets, I've been front running and trading some of these altcoins, some of the AI coins, Aptos. You could see them and the trends forming just by going to CoinGecko, going on and seeing the exchange and what coins are being traded at the highest volumes. What altcoins are on the Asian exchanges at the highest numbers. And you can look and see. And sure enough, those ones, like today, if you go and look, the highest traded coins on there will be the ones that pump the hardest on the bubbles. You can find trends, you can find certain narratives, and it's going to continue. Money's going to keep pouring in from over there. Right here, there's Glenn Williams writes, a decrease in the number of Bitcoin addresses with a balance of more than 1,000 Bitcoins suggests that large institutional investors are reluctant to add to their coffers. Well, what do you mean, CoinDesk? They're reluctant. I thought that right here, Guilliman Chatian says he's seeing big demand from institutions at Coinbase, and hedge funds want to take advantage of the volatility. So what is this? Glenn Williams saying a number of Bitcoin addresses with a balance of more than 1,000 suggests they're a decrease. Oh my God. That's so funny. This is moves like this are every day. It's just so funny how they can spin these narratives to make you think something completely different. What does it mean? So much for fears about federal monetary policy, increased regulatory activity, and banking unrest. It's so funny, the narratives, but I don't even care. I see through all of it now. And I like to look at and focus on stuff like this. Pro-capitalist Asians are more enthusiastic for Web3. And you just scroll through some of this gaming blockchain gamer right here and just look at just some of the trending headlines and what's going on. You see how much is going on in Asia. These games, these people love this anime cartoon character games. We don't really play that much over here. We're not into the whole anime stuff. It's massive over there in Asia. Animoca's launching a ton of stuff. So this is going to inevitably bring more money into crypto. This ETH is going to eventually come off of the exchanges. ETH 2.0. It's going to make its way into liquid staking, into these protocols, Rocket DAO, Lido, Anchor, Frax shares. And then from there, people are going to snoop around and eventually find Hex. It's inevitable. I see how this stuff works just with people in general. though I can get a great temperature on Hex just by who's reaching out to me and talking about Hex. There's your everyday people, and then there's the people I talk to that are only in it when things are pumping in the middle of a bull market, and then they kind of disappear for a year or two and come back when there's a lot of movement, or Hex is, pumping up 500% in a couple weeks, and it's the only coin that's green. New people start reaching out and start getting that itch again, and that FOMO happens so fast. And I'm starting to feel it again. I'm seeing it around, and I think things are starting to change. I really do. So stay patient, guys. Don't listen to this nonsense on here. It's all FUD. It really is. It's all to get you to sell your bags. It's not a coincidence. Hex Trust is rolling out their institutional staking. It is now live, and it's compatible with multiple blockchains. It's not a coincidence. They want you out so they can come in, just like this guy says, and swoop in all the volatility and buy up the stuff that you sold. The hedge funds want to take advantage of the volatility. They want to FUD you out. They want to get you to sell their bags so they can come in when it's legal and just sell it back to you once it's safe. It's just so funny, the difference in narratives that you see out here from the different people. And you want to stay clear of it and see through it. The SEC are a bunch of actors. Look at it like that. The cat is out of the bag. They're now suing Coinbase for staking, but they just integrated all these different blockchains for institutional clients to stake. How's that possible? How's that fair? That would never fly in court. So once this, if any crazy law actually got passed, or the SEC had some ruling that a judge made in their favor, it'll just get taken up to a higher court where they're much more conservative, and they're not going to stifle innovation and put a blanket on everything. There's no way. I just don't see this happening. All this being built out while the SEC is suing the little guy, it's not even fair to us. It's disgusting. And our way of winning is using DeFi and front running them to this stuff. I've been staked. My Hedera's been staked on Stater Labs, earning over 9.5%. And these guys are only going to get 6.5 max. So I'm already getting almost 50% more rewards than they are. So I'm already front running them there. And that's the little things you can do when you see this stuff. I think this potentially might have had something to do with Hex being changed to mining. This partnership here, Hex Trust Group, these guys are massive. And they're doing institutional staking. I think some kind of patent, or I don't know. I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but just the fact that they're doing this and rolling this out for the biggest companies in the world, Boeing, Google, IBM, they're all now allowed to stake, but we're not. It's just not fair, and it's not going to stay that way. They're not building out all this stuff to end up banning. They need to get this in order for all the institutions, all the banks. This is the framework. This is how staking works, and then they can bring it to retail. So of course they want us out. They don't want us winning in this stuff, and that we will continue to keep crushing and keep building and front run these guys, take our profits, and start building out Hexaco. That's my goal. I really want to see that happen, and I'm going to start doing it as soon as I have the money to do it. Start and build one farm. And from right there, have a self-sufficient farm that has food on it, has shelter. And then from there, have another one built from within hopefully 6 to 8 hours, and just keep branching out and keep building. And from there on, if we could have an infrastructure around the country that's growing our own food, has shelter, start to have our own schools. And next thing you know, we have our own supply chains being built. That's not reliant on all this stuff. It's not reliant on you having a certain medical procedure done to go to work or do whatever. This stuff, it's going to get crazy. These smart cities where they're going, I want nothing to do with a 15-minute city where I can get everything right there. That's not what I want. I want the complete opposite. I want to be living in a rural area with land, with just nature itself. I don't want to be condensed in a little city and be told what to do, being scanning my wrist as with a chip in it to go pay for stuff. That sounds horrific to me. And I see what's happening from being in this space every single day and talking to people all across crypto, people across in the real estate industry I still talk to, business owners I talk to. I get a feel of crypto from all kinds of different people in all walks of life. And when you start to see common messages in between all different groups, and you see all the narratives in the media, and you see what's actually going on, what laws are being passed, you could kind of start tying the dots together. And that's what I've been doing. I really see all this stuff going to one-stop shops, all the banks coming together and having these interoperable blockchains where you take your deposit, you deposit with them, and then they have what's called deposit tokens, and you can take those and buy digital stocks, digital bonds. You can buy NFTs, all that stuff. I think you're going to be able to do in their platform. Uniswap V4 would not be being built out for banks right now if they weren't planning on using it. They're going to make crypto so risky that you sell out of your bag, and these institutions and banks come and buy it up and sell it back to you for, $1. You sell it for a dime, they're selling back to you for $1 with a fee on top. And that's where it's going, in my opinion. They're rolling out all staking for institutions. They're laying a framework here. This is how you make passive income. You don't have to cheat, scam, lie, steal, whatever you were doing. You can make money natively through the protocols, and that way everyone wins. We just need to find a better yield than they have. And there's plenty of opportunities out there if you look for them. Pulse and Pulsechain are going to be massive opportunities. All the projects that are going to be on there. Look at how Hedron and Icosa got built out for Hex. I didn't see those coming, when I first started staking Hex. And now there's just so many new things that are going to come from this. Being early into this is going to be generational type wealth. Even just looking at this screen here with like Stellar, XLM, they're now MoneyGram. So many people use MoneyGram outside the United States, sending money around the world instantly. And it's done now through Stellar with USDC. So that's Circle, that's Consensus, that's MetaMask, that's Ethereum, that's Stellar, all pretty much working together. And they're going to just keep growing. They're not going to do the opposite. You just don't hear that stuff in the media. It's not exciting. It's not as exciting as BitBoy flying down to the Bahamas to chase Sam Bankman-Fried around, or Do Kwon trying to grab a gun and shoot himself. It's all almost a Hollywood movie in front of our eyes. And you need to be able to separate the truth from the garbage. You can see the articles, literally polar opposites right here. This article right here. Institutional investors are reluctant to add to their coffers, says Glenn Williams. But an actual good article, if you read this from Blockworks, we're seeing big demand coming from institutions. Gualman Chatian, head of institutional sales at Coinbase, said during a fireside chat at Paris Blockchain Week, hedge funds want to take advantage of the volatility. That's awkward. Hedge funds want to take advantage of the volatility. They want to cause a storm. They want to create chaos so they can swoop in and buy what you have because you read some horrible articles that are written by a paid bot. I don't even know if half of these articles are by real people. I know on AMB, my favorite author is Suzuki Shills a lot. It's so funny that I don't even think they're humans writing some of these articles. And you really got to see through what's going on and see that DeFi is rolling out for institutions. Staking is now rolling out for, but Hedera's governing council has 28 of the biggest companies in the world on there. And they're all now running nodes on Hedera, and they're going to all be able to stake with these different blockchains. Meanwhile, we are getting staking allegedly banned for retail because it's too risky. And then Fidelity's rolling out Bitcoin for inside their business accounts. I just saw it this past week. And you can now trade crypto and do all that inside of a business account inside Fidelity. It used to only be you could put a little bit into a retirement account, and it's completely changing. I was watching another interview with Fidelity, and they were talking about how in the future with Bitcoin, there's no way they're going to be able to succeed if they don't allow you to bring your money into their platform. So right now, if you have to send money through your bank or whatever to get it on there, but in the future, they're going to have it where you're going to be able to log in with your MetaMask wallet and swap and send in Ethereum or any other ERC20s that they allow on their platform. So there's not going to be this like wall that I was fearing in the future where the banks were going to run on this private blockchain and it was going to be somehow interoperable with what we're using now, but our ERC20s wouldn't work or something. You know, we'd be stuck on Uniswap V3 while they're on V4 and our coins don't work anymore. But I don't see that happening. Everything I'm seeing is that they're going to allow you to bridge in your money. And you're going to be able to take the stuff you have on your hardware wallet and send it into these platforms. So the walls are kind of breaking down. In my opinion, they just need to get this stuff solidified. They need to show you how to stake, how it works. It's safe for them. And then from there on, it'll be good for you. It'll be safe for you. And that, I think, will be the mass adoption. And, you know, it's happening real fast. And just stay patient, stay focused, and good things happen. When you least expect it, these things take off. The cryptos that you think are dead, they come back when you least expect it. You know, always just expect the unexpected and just hodl strong. And on that note, we got a special guest joining us in the building right now. What's up, Mr. Rags to Riches?
How you doing, buddy?
Doing well, man. Just on a little rant here. I saw you popping in and got excited.
Dude, I don't know. Have you changed your look over like the past 3 months? I mean, you look like a normal human being kind of now.
Dude, I actually I can't grow a beard, so I'm trying to just not cut my hair.
You look sharp, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Where's your boy old Erwin?
Dude, he must be in a heated flat earth debate because he's he's nowhere to be found right now.
So I saw this I was on somewhere on like Facebook or something, and they had a picture of the pyramids, and then they kind of went over to a picture of the Washington Monument, and they were basically insinuating that the top of the pyramid is actually just a piece of the rest of the pyramid that's buried, just like the Washington Monument, under the sand for like miles. So I immediately thought of Erwin when I saw that, and yeah, so that's where my head goes. I feel like he knows everything.
I'll tell you, some of those things I thought he was the craziest for. After about a year, I was like, wow, he was actually right. And the most out there things tend to be true, and the stuff you're like, yeah, all right, I believe you on that one. He's actually full of shit. It's really funny.
Dude, there's like a hierarchy of conspiracy, and growing up most of my life, I was just a layer one. There's like 50 layers underneath, and I keep going down. I'm like, well, that's not too far-fetched. And then you get comfortable with that, you go to the next layer. That's not really too far-fetched here. This is kind of the process, right?
It's funny how everything that was a conspiracy like 3-4 years ago is now true.
It's true, and people hate you for talking about it, yeah. which makes me want to talk about it even more. It's like, you can't stop me from talking about these things. What do you oh, it's dangerous. These ideas are dangerous. No, they're not dangerous. Your closed-mindedness is very, very dangerous for society, I assure you.
It is. I've been saying that, you know, the difference between you being the center of everything and the stars spinning around you versus hurling through space at light speeds in every direction, it just changes your outlook, or hopefully would change your outlook.
Yeah. Did you see the, what was it? Oh, shoot. I forgot what it was. You can fit. What's up, dude?
What up, dude? I've been waiting. He said, yeah, 5 o'clock your time. It's now 4:30. And I come here, you're already on for half an hour. God damn it.
Dude, you're looking Looking healthy, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, you know why.
Golly. You look like a different person in the face.
Yeah, man, I'm truly enjoying this diet. It's not easy, and my girl finds out that it's not easy either. You're always having more hungry, and it's easy to get taste within your diet because it's really plain. It's always the same. But yeah, no, man, I'm loving it.
You look like
Loving
you
it.
look like a little bit more meatier in your shoulders, and the inflammation in your face is down. I can tell.
Yes, yes.
And your
I had
skin
some
looks good too.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm excited, man.
me too.
There.
What did I miss?
50% there with the
Good.
protein.
Yeah.
I'm weaning off the poison.
Oh yeah, nice. So what have we been talking about? God damn it! I'm a half an hour late.
Well, rumor is that the Washington Monument was built, got their inspirations from the pyramids, and just the tip of the pyramids poking out.
Yeah, just the tip of the pyramids coming out of the sand. Tip of the obelisk is what somebody said in chat. Now,
interesting.
Now here's the other cool thing. So that video, see, look what you did, Adam. So the other neat thing about this is they were saying that there are many chambers that are sealed off, and the government will not allow people to go deeper inside the Giza pyramids. I thought that was very interesting too. I'm like, what? Like that they want to go find stuff? Why won't they let people keep going further down? So
Exactly.
I found that interesting.
From the pyramids, I want to believe that what we see could be just the tip of it, and it could be way more beneath it.
Yes.
But for an obelisk, that should be one hell of a pyramid.
I know.
Golly.
That's the illustration that they did. Like it goes down like a quarter mile.
Yeah, it needs to be. If the tip is at that angle, we stick that much out. Damn, that needs to be insanely big. Golly.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Huge.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it with my own eyes in Amsterdam when they created let's say a new metro, and everything was always closed off with as much fences and tarp as they could possibly fit in an area. And I never understood why until you get the chance to actually get behind it. And then they dig down about 40 feet, and all you see is stories of buildings just sitting there. What we are living on right now, but let's say in most European countries, big cities, the level that we are living on right now could be the 3rd, 4th, 5th level. And we think it's ground floor. It's insane.
Well, is it Göbekli Tepe? Is that Göbekli Tepe? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that is in what is it?
I don't know where it's at, but is it like in South America? I don't know where it's at.
Yeah.
Peru or something.
Peru, yes.
America.
Well, it was that, and then there was one other where they built these structures over thousands of years, but every like 500 or 1,000 years, they intentionally buried these structures, and then they rebuilt on top. So level, and they've been able to use ground penetrating radar, and they can see each one of these levels representing epochs in time. It just built on top, on top, on top. It's wild, man. Wild.
It is. When I tell people that we are one social experiment, they lose their mind. They can't comprehend that we are just literally a social experiment, a genetic experiment that resets every, I don't know how long.
12,500, right? Is that the consensus right now? The last reset for the most part?
No, I think the resets are really much more closer together.
Frequent, yeah.
Yeah, way more frequent. The 12,400, or let's say the 14,000 years, that's more the cycle that you see on the map behind me.
I got you.
Yeah,
because a full revolution takes 24,000 years.
I'm
28
into the flood rabbit holes, and like just like trying to visualize a 2-mile high wall of water rushing over the country at like 400 miles an hour,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to wipe out. There's going to be nothing left. Even if it was, it'd be in complete ruins.
What if it's not a singular event? Because that's what we always think. We think, oh, it needed to be a catastrophic event that was worldwide, because we can only see the remnants of it right now. But what have we seen in the past, 5 years? We have seen floods all over the world. Literally cities buried in mud that they just have to abandon. Give it 10 more years, the whole world is flooded again. The new generation thinks it was a singular event, even though it took 20 years to actually develop. But if there's nobody to tell the real history story, you don't know. You're just looking at a picture and saying, wait a minute.
And that doesn't even include the conquerors that come in and burn all of the previous knowledge to the ground too. How much of it has that been lost, you know?
Exactly. Who knows? It's mind-boggling to think about that. When you go to school, the first thing they tell you don't have to figure everything out. You don't have to learn everything. You don't have to critical think. All you need to do is memorize this book. But what if you go into school with a young mind and still are capable or able or allowed to freely think? Could you imagine?
Mm-hmm.
That's why we need to build for like if we in this country, if we had every 4 to 6 hours a farm that was self-sufficient, off grid, with shelter and stuff, you could start there and connect everywhere with a 4 to 6 hour drive. You'd have somebody, and you have infrastructure built out, and then you could do homeschooling or like community or whatever, and you could have the next generation being taught in 15, 20 years. It's just, hey, you have to just do it. It's gotten so out of control. I don't know what the solution is besides something like that.
Yeah, 150 years ago, we lived exactly that way. We didn't really have big cities as the way that we think right now. At least they weren't populated yet. Another conundrum that people don't want to accept, that the reality that we live in right now is only 150 years old. Prior to that, every city in the world was completely abandoned. No people, nothing. And you can see it in all paintings, in old photos, in people literally walking around, no clue where to look. There's no diversity. You see set ages. That's where all the orphanage came from, the orphanage trains, all those things. The world is literally repopulated. And everybody had to use the technology that they experienced there, no clue what it was. If you look into old pictures and paintings from the 1900s, you will literally see trams, cars, lorries, all those things just sitting there with a horse in front of it, carrying it for about a decade. People had no clue how a car worked. All they knew was, you know what? Let me put a horse in front of it and let's get along. It's so funny.
Yeah. The orphanage stuff, that's a whole rabbit hole in itself.
Yeah, I know. It's mind-boggling when you truly look into
Erwin's
it.
like, yeah, I know. Trust me.
Yeah.
I know that.
It's the things that I would like to tell, but you just can't tell because people will instantly. I mean, I already have a label for being crazy just because I know that the earth is not a spinning ball. If that alone triggers people that much, if I tell them what the world really is, they blow their mind.
Yeah, you got to take it one step at a time with that.
It's such a slow process. It took me 2 decades, literally 2 decades. And still, every year I look back and I think, damn, every year you get older, you look back at your history thinking things differently. This is how much you update your worldview. That's what I love about Richard when he says it. Update your worldview. There's no harm in being wrong in something.
Yeah, that's a red flag right there. Someone can't admit, oh yeah, I was definitely wrong about that. My bad.
Yeah, that's the government's job. Oopsie.
Yeah. So Rat, yeah. What can you give us? What's the latest gravy in the flat Earth realm, Erwin? What's the latest
Dude,
topic?
that ship has sailed so long ago. It's funny that it didn't really catch on quicker than I thought. Because when I started in 15, 16, everything was pretty new. And every physicist, professor, every leading expert in the field that created most models, most calculations, they were all willing to get into a debate with us. And then as soon as the debate um, progressed, you would see that they came up with something that we needed to dissect. And it took years for every argument to dissect because we didn't know. Nobody taught us anything. All they taught us is this is what it is. It's a spinning ball. And then when they come with all their formulas and all those calculations and all those things that you're supposed to be experiencing, yeah, it took time to dissect that all. But now there's no debate. There's literally no debate. There's no argument for the heliocentric model, like none. There's been not a bounty, but I think it's now close to almost $3 million for one empirical scientific evidence that is regarding curvature, a molten iron core self-perpetuating, how molten iron can be magnetic, actual rotation, either of those that should be experimentally proven and substantiated with empiric evidence or data. It should be really easy when everybody believes that we're on a spinning ball. It shouldn't be hard to actually come up with this information. But all that you find is the opposite. We have done laser tests over 40 miles over water. There's no curvature nowhere.
Yeah, those cameras pretty much seal the deal.
And it's even the things that we used every single day of, or that we have been using for the past 100 years for navigation on it. They can only work from a level plane. We used to sail with a sextant. The only way you can use a sextant is when you start off of level. How can you start off with level on a tangent point? Because that's what a sphere is. A sphere is made out of tangent points. You can't level something on a tangent point. That doesn't work. A periscope doesn't work. Lighthouse doesn't work. Gyroscope doesn't work. Sundial doesn't work. All these things can only be demonstrable on a level plane. None of them can be make work, not even within the formula or within math. It doesn't work, let alone in reality, what you can observe.
Yeah, it's pretty much provable that we're not on a spinning ball, but I have no clue.
Me neither. When people say, yeah, are we living on a donut, a triangle? I don't know. All I know is for as far as we can see and for as far as we can measure, it's level. Perfectly level without deviation.
Yep. What do you think, Rags?
I think that in 10 or 15 years, I'm not going to ask the permission of the United States government or any government of the world. I'm going to compile a secret anonymous team to build a rocket. And I've already thought about how this is going to work.
Yes.
The initial stage is going to be via balloon. We're going to take it up to maybe, I know that balloons I have access to can go up to like 80,000 feet. How do I know? Because I used to launch those in the Navy. And then at some point, the rocket detaches and then it shoots out into outer space with the camera facing backwards, non-fish lens, mind you. And we're going to prove once and for all. I'm going to release it, hopefully on the blockchain where it's immutable. Nice. And then we go from there. I want to go way out.
Yeah, so but we've done it already, over and over and over and over.
They've gone out, right? But when you think about okay, if you think about the flat Earth, for example,
Yeah.
and you go to an altitude of what 60 to 100,000 feet, that's equivalent of being maybe 2 millimeters over the top of the surface of this thing. That's why you can see infinitely in all directions.
True, but that's only because you take into you're taking the ratio of something that we know is infinite. It's an infinite plane. So
Oh,
this
okay.
ratio between width and height, I know what you're trying to say, but
Well, is it infinite? Is there consensus on it being infinite?
for as far as we can tell, it's infinite. If we look into old maps, there's more land the further you go.
Yeah.
How far? Nobody knows. It's
So
the same
heaven-
way as the universe is supposedly infinite and ever expanding. Could you verify it?
No.
No.
So heaven is not up. Heaven is left and right. Heaven is infinite in the horizontal plane and not the vertical plane.
I think it's a different realm. It's like it's more spiritual.
I mean, there's a lot of definitions of heaven.
I don't think it's a physical.
No.
It
could be a state of mind.
I want to go way high up, and I want to. I don't want to rely on somebody else to do it.
Yeah,
I want to go high up, and I want to snap some photos, bro. And I'm gonna do it.
I've been
working on. Shouldn't have said that on YouTube.
High altitude balloon that hopefully would go to 110, 130.
Yeah,
we've done it before, and that's the highest we pretty much can go with a balloon. With a rocket, we can go further, but at some point you will hit the firmament.
Well, let's prove it, bro.
We already done it.
You hit it?
Yeah.
Do you have the impact on video?
Yeah.
Show me the video.
It's called the Go Fast Rocket. It's been going viral for years, and then they deleted everything and cut out the moment when it actually hit the dome. It's so funny what they all did to cover it up. Now it's all available again.
Well, I
do
want
you have it?
I want to hit the dome.
Yeah,
bro.
let me.
I want to watch this now. I want to see if
it's insane. You literally hear it hitting something. Yeah, boink, and it sounds a bit fluidly. It's so funny.
I saw a couple of videos of like alleged rockets that they looked like they went up and they scraped up against something in the sky, and it looks like water ripples after.
Yeah, that is what happened at pretty much every rocket launch. They shoot it up, make sure it takes a certain angle, because if they wouldn't take that angle, every rocket would blow up. Exactly what they did with all the first rockets, because when they started, they had no idea. They just shot up a rocket and then exploded, and I thought, what the fuck happened? And they did it again, and they did it again, and every single time at the same altitude, the thing would explode.
Any idea how high?
Between 500 miles or 50 miles? 50 to between 50 and 100 miles or something.
73 miles was the highest you could go.
73. It might be.
It's not that high.
It might be higher than like cloud tops can go up to about 60 miles, I think.
Supposedly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably 40 to 60 miles, because I mean, I've been in a passenger airliner. I've seen the tops of cumulonimbus clouds.
Oh yeah, me too.
But they do. But what's interesting, there's three types of clouds. The first type of cloud is the cloud that you see in the early day, and that's cumulus, nice and white, fluffy. The second stage is towering cumulus. So that's like around 2 to 4 o'clock. And that's that stage when you get those updrafts and they start building. And then the third stage is CB, cumulonimbus. And that's where you get the anvil, the flattening out. So that's kind of, I just thought about that. That's interesting. Yep.
For as far as we could tell from the measurements, the sun and the moon are about 70, 75 miles across.
The sun and the moon are 75 miles across.
Thereabouts, yes.
So like on an eclipse day, they're 75 across.
They're always the same size. The only thing that we experience is difference.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I thought you meant from me. I was, what?
And they had literally had to come up with a new word to explain the impossible. Penumbra. Penumbra. Because whatever we do, we can never create a smaller shadow than the object. You can only make bigger shadows from an object. You can never make it smaller. And since when we have a solar eclipse, the shadow that it casts on the Earth is about 40 to 50 miles. So it's still guessing, but at least it's more than whatever they tell you.
All right, we got the rocket loaded up.
You guys never seen this one?
Mm-mm.
Dude, it's freaking amazing.
All right, here we go. Is there sound? Oh, it's muted.
And this was an amateur rocket, and it wasn't even intended or to do this or prove this, or it was just a hobby rocket.
You can sound or no?
Some sound, yeah. No, we don't.
So we know this is definitely not altered at all.
No. This, because when this all came out, it was still a research project. It was just like a project for a university, and it didn't came out for a long time, so it took a while before it caught on. But it's been a while since this one.
Those ice crystals?
I was gonna have a seizure watching this thing.
Not really sure, to be honest.
Whoa.
That was instant. And if you had the sound, you would hear like you hit something that is hollow underwater. That Doppler sound that you hear. So
put the link. Is the link in the private chat?
Yes.
I want to hear this thing.
You can't hear that?
No.
What the hell? I don't know why it's not. I can hear it over here.
Yeah, and what you see when we launch rockets, as soon as they started to tilt over, and you see those beautiful sprays in the sky, it's literally the rocket just hitting the firmament and bouncing off. And you literally see the ripples. It's so beautiful when you actually look at it.
So it's still going up right now. Yeah. All right. Well, they should have like an altimeter on this thing.
There was. If you want to look up high altitude balloons, the guy that used to do it for us was Dwayne Kellum. And he's been doing high altitude balloons pretty much every 3 to 4 months for years. Getting new equipment on it, barometer, new cameras, everything. And the highest we got was around 130,000 feet. And it's so beautiful up there. It's perfectly level. You can see as far as the eye will let you. It's insane.
Why did it restart? It didn't. Was that the end?
No. It's just a compilation, I think. I just picked the first one that I found. All I did was go fast rocket on Google.
They see how high. The rocket reached 72 miles up and 3,400 miles per hour.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. It got to about 73 miles. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. So yeah, Brad, you got some work to do.
I'm sorry, I said 60. I meant 60,000 feet. How much is 60,000 feet?
60,000 feet is about 11 miles.
Yeah, there's 5,300 per mile.
No, less.
It's 11. It's 11 miles.
Yeah,
11.3 miles.
Yep. And the firmament should be around that 70-mile area. It's really interesting. If you look into the old Encyclopedia Britannica prior to 1950s, I think, if you, or even earlier, it will describe everything, all the measurements that they did, how high the firmament was, because they actually measured that it was going down. It's same as a sphere around you.
Dude, that's a little bit crazy, man. Because, all right, I'm going to share this with you guys.
Operation Fishbowl was literally them. They tell us that they were testing nuclear weapons in space because they didn't want to do it on land. What they were trying to do was get through that barrier because they couldn't. They literally shot supposedly nuclear, just big bombs, up into the firmament to get a hole in it. How retarded are these people?
Share that, Adam.
I was just adding. I saw it, but I don't know if you needed to.
That is literally, this happens at around 60,000 feet. The tops of these, where they come up and they start flattening out. I find that pretty freaking interesting. And they say that it's a difference in air density at that height, but the atmosphere is very fluid. Why would it be at 60,000 feet at every point on Earth?
Exactly.
Very interesting.
But we could create this with electromagnetic fields. Because you can literally, let's say up there, the energy of the ethereal field is way bigger than we have here. Because for every meter that you rises, the voltage rises with 100-fold. So 1 meter you will have 100-fold. At 100 meters you will have 10,000 volts, and so on until about 10 or 11 miles, and then you see some deviation. It's not linear anymore. So there could be literally an electromagnetic blanket on top of us, the same that follows the auroras or the northern lights. They also go up into a band and stay there. Something is keeping it there. The same with the clouds. Something is stopping it. And since everything needs to have a medium to exist in or to transport on, sound goes to air, it's a medium. It can go to water, it's a medium. Everything needs a medium to migrate on or to transport on. What I believe is that the ultimate medium, the basis medium, is the ether, where everything is carried on. Light, magnetism, everything.
I think makes sense. I mean, just looking back at like Tesla with what he was trying to do with all the energy, telling you it's all the energies in basically. And then I think everything too, we are in a closed system. Like there's no way.
Yes.
In the last 30 years, like my aunts that when I was little, when they grew up in the same high school I went to, they were taught about the Great Freeze that was coming. When when my aunts and uncles were like 10 years old, they were taught that in 2000 there's going to be a great freeze that's coming, and it never happened. So now it's global warming is happening. But I watched firsthand. I've seen like glaciers disappear completely, and the sea level has not rised 1 millimeter anywhere. So it's for sure we're in a closed system. The ice that's melting in these glaciers is just forming somewhere else or in Antarctica or around there. There's no way sea level would not have risen 2 inches by now, and half these glaciers are wiped out.
It hasn't risen 1 inch since 1620. We have data until 1620, not an inch. So that's 403 years without rising.
So I just got to thinking something else, because when we would send those balloons up, temperature, you're taught, decreases with altitude. Temperature decreases with altitude to a certain point, and then it increases.
Correct.
You get up in the highest levels of the atmosphere, the temperature is higher at those levels than it is on the surface of the earth.
Oh, I did not know that. I didn't know it
Now,
was that high.
I'll prove it.
Mm.
You can. It's called an upper air sounding, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. And I was like, wait, why the hell would that be? I was just thinking about it just now. All right, here we go. We'll present, share screen.
Mm.
You guys see that?
Yep.
So check this out, dude. So we'll just take like we'll take this for example. If I can see this. Here it is. Zoom in. You guys see that good?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So yeah, on the right there, you've got tropos, stratos, mesosphere, thermosphere. It gets cold as you go up to about 10 kilometers. But you hit a point, according to this, at about 90 kilometers where the temperature increases rapidly.
Oh, yeah.
Rapidly to the point where it's like 100, what does this say, Fahrenheit? 130 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than the desert.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, right?
Well, the problem with this is that we don't actually go higher than 70. So
Right.
everything above 70 could be.
But this is, I have seen the temperature increase with altitude because I was sending those up.
Yes.
That's how I know. I was getting that raw data back from these machines that I was setting up. I was pulling the battery tab. I was configuring. So I know that there are different temperature levels in the atmosphere, but after a certain point, temperature starts increasing very quickly. Now, why would that be? Something to think about. Something to think.
I wonder if maybe maybe it's the sunlight. Maybe it's the heat from or the sun rate. I don't know.
The pressure should be increasing as well because it's a direct relationship.
Oh yeah,
High
temperature
pressure,
and
high
pressure.
temperature, low
Yep.
temperature, low
'Cause the
pressure.
molecules are moving faster, causing higher pressure, right? That's a good
Yeah.
point.
Well, if there was a firmament up there, it actually was like a dome that kept everything in. I mean, there's water on the other side.
But the law of thermodynamics couldn't apply that way because it describes how energy flows one direction and it goes from high pressure to low pressure, high temperature to low temperature. You can't have a warm level here, a warm level here with cold in between. The second law of thermodynamics would never allow it. It needs to be a gradient from one instance to another. It needs to have a migration. You can't have two hot surfaces with a cold surface constantly in the middle. It would at some point would it.
Yeah, he would he rise then if there?
Yes.
It would have. Yeah, I guess it would have to. Yeah, you would need.
And that makes sense. Heat rises. Therefore it's. But the pressure decreases. And there's more gases on ground level because everything is produced on ground level.
Do we know that for a fact that pressure decreases as temperature heats up there? Or are we told that? Like, if there is there a barometer on a rocket too?
No, it's the other way around. So higher temperature will get higher pressure, or higher pressure will get higher temperature. So if you put your fingers together and blow through them, blow through Paint's fingers, you will. If you do it for 10 seconds, you can't do it anymore. That's how hot your fingers get, just of the friction and the pressure. And when you release pressure, let's say a lighter or a gas can, if you release it quickly, you will see it freezes. Your gas can freezes over. So low pressure, or at least the degrees in pressure, or the acceleration in degrees of pressure will extract heat. It's the same way as if you have moisture on your skin and you blow over it, you feel the cold on your skin. What it's actually doing is because the water wants to evaporate, the only way it can evaporate is by extracting heat out of something. And the closest source for extracting heat is your skin. This is why we in nature sweat, to expel all that heat. So when something evaporates, it can only happen if there's energy. And it needs to be in a closed system. You said it before about we need to be in a closed system. You can't have a water cycle without being in a closed system. So if you have a glass and you put a little bit of moisture in it, you do it upside down, heat up the glass. What will you see? It start evaporating and it will condense on the walls of the glass. And then it falls down again and it condenses to water, heat it up, get vaporized, get condensed on the sides of the glass. It can only work within a closed system. As soon as you open a system, it's over. So we can't have a water cycle here, or a carbon cycle, or any cycle for that matter, if it's not a closed system. If it's an open system, nothing will work.
Yeah. How did they
And
call
yet,
about the moon then?
yeah, exactly. And then they want to make you believe that we can actually go somewhere that could not exist in physics, like literally.
Like, how do you get propulsion in space? I just don't
You
understand.
don't.
What's
You,
it's not even possible.
no, correct. An airplane pushes off of air. A boat pushes off of water.
I
A
mean,
spacecraft pushes off of nothing
well,
because there is nothing.
even if
So
you
it couldn't
could,
work.
even if you could somehow use the actual moon itself for propulsion,
Yeah,
how?
but then you have to believe in gravity again.
That's what I
Something
mean. It's just
imaginary.
so
Yeah.
when you start thinking about it, it's just so almost comical.
I mean, you have action and equal reaction. And I think I've discussed it with Brandon before in text, where I think you ask, what if I am standing on skates on ice and I held a weight in front of me and I push the weight away? You will go backwards. And that's just a different way of action reaction, because the energy comes from you. And the reason why you go backwards is because Newton's law of motion or mass, it will dictate that something that is in motion always wants to be or stay in motion unless a force acts upon it. The same thing goes for something that is actually still. Something that is still and it has mass, it wants to stay that way. So if you rapidly wants to move something that is really heavy, you will push yourself off. But at that point, the force is gone and you slow down again.
So there I was in my mid-20s, extremely intoxicated, and I lived on a pond, and I had a canoe, and it was nighttime, and I got 2 shotguns, and I got a shotgun on each arm, 12 gauge.
Yep.
And I'm in the canoe facing backwards, and I'm half naked, and I fire the shotguns at the same time.
Yeah.
And my canoe went in the opposite direction.
Correct. Exactly
what you're talking about. Thank you.
Yes.
I connected that. All right, cool.
Yeah. And that's just because the bullet actually has mass.
Mm-hmm. And the velocity that it's leaving. Yeah. The barrel mass. Yeah. So force is equal to mass times acceleration.
Correct.
So mass accelerating faster, i.e. a small bullet, 12 gauge slug flying out of that barrel at 3,500 meters per second, or feet per second rather. Yeah, my canoe's moving backwards.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And then it experience resistance, air resistance. And this is what they want to make you believe, that in space where there's nothing, there's no resistance. And that's what they make you believe, that you could actually travel, because you got to think of it. These guys are supposedly floating around across an international space station, attached to an umbilical cord with the space station, while traveling 28,000 miles per hour. They are traveling 12 times faster than the speed of sound. No, 28 times, 26 times faster than the speed of sound, while hanging on an umbilical cord to something floating in emptiness. Does that make sense? If you put your head outside of the window while you go 100 miles an hour, what will happen?
Bad things.
And you could give the argument, yeah, but up there's no atmosphere, so it wouldn't even make
No
any
bumblebees.
difference.
Yeah.
Did you see Bryce Mitchell's the UFC fighter? He was someone like sent him a link or whatever to a flat earth video. He went down a rabbit hole for like 6 months and he's ready to call Joe Rogan out. He's like, if that motherfucker comes up and interviews me in the ring, I'm gonna ask him straight to his face and tell him he's a liar. It's so funny. They're all like, everybody's waking up all around. It's so funny.
I've woken up enough that I'm the type of person that I got to go answer these questions for myself, and now I'm not willing to listen to anybody.
Same.
Yeah.
So that's why, guys, if you're listening to this, we're going to come up with a private anonymous team, and we're shooting a balloon space rocket. And here's the thing, another idea. We're not only going to put a camera facing backwards and sideways, we're going to put one facing up too.
Every direction.
Is that fair? That's fair.
It's going to have a we're going to check temperature. We're going to check pressure. We're going to check electrical frequencies, impulse, anything up there. We're finding it.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll make it to market before we're assassinated? That's the question.
As long as they don't know, you're fine.
That's the hard part.
It'll have to be assembled in multiple places.
Oh, I'm gonna launch it from a submarine in the mid-Atlantic.
Yeah.
Just like an ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile, except to space.
The Nevada desert. I mean, shoot it up. There's nobody there.
Someone in Vegas you could pay to launch a missile, I'm sure.
Well, the problem is from space with these. Well, I'm gonna say the word satellite, and facing reality is gonna explode. But apparently, they could see a Nike check on a golf ball from space. So I don't know, dude. I might have to, Nevada desert might be out of the question for me, bro. I don't know. It's got to be clandestine.
I mean, there are so many places where you can just legally launch rockets. These guys did the same. I believe it was the University of Michigan that did a lot, but I'm not really sure.
Well, there's another alternative, right? What if? How would we do this? Why do we have to use rocket propelled technology to shoot these things as violent and as fast as we do straight up? Why couldn't we just have a low speed option at a much more shallow angle? Couldn't we do that too?
Sure. I mean, a balloon is already your best.
The cheapest.
Yeah.
Probably.
But you can only go to 100,000 feet.
Would you have enough fuel to go at such a small pace? You probably require so much fuel.
I've got the idea for it. I've already thought about it. We put solar panels on the wings, and it goes forever in that angle, nice and slow.
Yep, that would work. And
then if it hits a certain altitude where it starts losing, we could put rocket propulsion on the back of it potentially.
You need to have rocket propulsion. We couldn't pretty much do it because the higher you go, the more energy it takes to actually go higher because there's no air to push off. So
we might have to build multiple rockets.
All right. So let's talk about this, Erwin. Let's talk about this, bro. All right. We can now measure all right. Do you believe the infrared and do you believe the visible footage that they've released of these otherworldly probes? Because we are now able to measure the G forces. We are now able to measure the speeds. We are now able to measure the changes in angular momentum from these things. And there's no way anything alive is inside these devices because what is it, 30 G's? 30 G's is what they estimate these things are pulling when they go from 2 feet off sea level to 60,000 feet in like a quarter second.
Exactly. Yeah, it's even more than that, probably.
So this is the biggest thing that nobody talks about.
Mhm.
And the fact that they released it to the public, the fact that they're allowing pilots to talk about it on the Joe Rogan show and Dateline and all that, like, and how come nobody's like, what? Can you imagine, like, can you imagine the devastation of an object that doesn't even explode?
Mhm.
It's an object the size of a minivan that goes, it goes 30 miles per hour and accelerates faster than anything known to man, just slamming into shit. Just,
Mhm.
you know,
The
talking about
kinetic energy alone.
the kinetic energy.
Mhm.
It's like sending a needle at the speed of light in the earth.
Yeah.
The earth blows up. So
I know.
what is happening here? How come this isn't like a thing? In my mind, it is. I think about this
Yeah.
shit at night, man.
The
Yeah.
same.
It's
But we are only thinking about what are they doing to hide it? Because we know it's, I mean, there are a lot of theories. I mean, what we see about aliens or what, it could
I don't
literally
care.
be a
I don't,
civilization from another piece of
or
land that
here.
we don't
Yeah.
know
That's what
exactly.
I think. I think that's much more likely.
Exactly. And
I
who
do.
knows? They are way more advanced. And if they can actually use the ethereal field the way that we used to do it back in the day, the same way a bumblebee does it, a bumblebee can change direction that science can't prove. A bumblebee can fly into a crosswind of 60 miles and doesn't even flinch.
Mm.
So the bumblebee knows how to fly the ethereal field.
Or maybe they can transcend the dome. Maybe they can do that too, right? Maybe we're locked. Maybe we're the birds in the cage, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
can pass through.
honestly
Oh, I believe there's a passage through. Yeah.
the Antarctica. It makes the most sense. I mean, if you like looking at Irwin there, we're only in a small portion of that ball right there. Well, if you
Mhm.
do I think the 21,000 year clock and you work it around, I mean that the livable ball, it slowly moves around. So we're in
Yes.
500 years, where right now is a nice ocean, it's going to be covered in ice. So it slowly shifts around. So like the inhabitable lands, like glaciers will come through New York and make it inhospitable around here for thousands of years and then pull back but at that same time it's opening up land somewhere else. And we're just
Correct.
trapped and we're not allowed to, like, I don't know. I think Antarctica is like is the portal, or I don't even know.
I
The
think
Sahara
it's the
Desert.
center.
The Sahara Desert, the most, I guess, under investigated place on Earth because it's so inhospitable. Which I think, what was it, 5,000 or 7,000 years ago? It was a luscious forest,
Yeah.
and under that sand, they've seen many times. Yeah, what is that?
200 years ago, 250
Okay,
years ago, literally whole Africa was green.
okay,
There
yeah.
was no
Africa's
desert.
green. Africa's green.
Yeah.
What?
Whole
Now,
Africa, no desert.
so is that because of the shift and the amount of radiation that area of the world is receiving? Is that why it's dried up, or what?
Honestly, I think it looks to me like the every year the mountains grow a teeny little bit, and once they get to a certain height, like in the Himalayas, it cuts off, like it changes the way air flows. So certain
Mhm.
places, just that the mountains grow up, it just changes the way the winds blow. And over the years, you get mountains that come up, and things just like the ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
It changes.
Or we had one big boar 300 years ago. Who knows? And we wiped out the whole earth.
I've seen the pictures, I think in World War I, when they're flying over the Sphinx. Have you seen those?
Yes.
And the Sphinx is half buried in sand, and that's a
Just
big thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
just the tip sticking out. Like, and in my mind, I'm like, what? How come only in the last 100 years have we gone to excavate that? How come that hasn't just been something that people were doing all the time? Like, that makes no sense. They would just like, let's just walk up and visit the Sphinx. It's half buried in sand, and let's ask no questions, and let's just go back and make bread and sit around a bowl and eat rice. No,
Exactly.
what?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
I don't know.
Odd.
Yeah, that is kind of bizarre.
If you go to Europe and you visit every major city and just experience the beauty of the architecture, especially the old churches and the old cathedrals in Spain, in Portugal, they're so you cannot comprehend how we nowadays could build that. Let alone when people were supposedly shitting in the streets.
So I agree with you. SJ just brought up something crazy. Have you guys, I started digging into the Atlantis.
In Africa, bro.
Oh my gosh. Are
Mhm,
you freaking kidding me?
mhm. That's a rabbit hole.
Okay, so they talk about the Eye of the Sahara, right?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so all right, I'm gonna pull this up.
This is
because
really recent too. Like this is like within the last couple of years, I think.
yes, and it was brought by, who's the old guy with the white hair that isn't a archaeologist, but everybody's busting his
Graham
chops?
Hancock.
Yeah, that dude. He's the one that's started talking about this. So there's this structure that's in the Sahara. It's called the Eye of the Sahara.
Mhm.
And it mimics to a T. It was some old philosopher. It was like Plato or something. His description of what Atlantis was, and they talked about 3 or 4 concentric rings. They talked about a passageway to the south where water flowed in and water flowed out. They talked about a mountain chain to the north, and there's a mountain chain to the north, mind you, is named after one of the rulers of so-called Atlantis, and it's been that way the entire time. Adam, can you bring that photo up, bro?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up.
Of the Eye of Sahara.
Oh yeah.
There she is. This random structure in the now, mind you, this you know, there was water here. And look at the south. There's like a spillway. You see where water was spilling over to the south to break in that structure. And there were cities. The city was built inside and on those rings going all the way out.
And isn't the stone too? The stone matches, or the kind of stone that's there matches there's a lot there.
Yeah.
And like the devastation, like I was talking about the 2-mile high wall of water. Like there's ripples in the sand around this thing that are clearly water ripples, and they're like hundreds of feet wide. Like the devastation that came through here was at a scale that like we can't even comprehend.
Yeah.
And this used to be
Here it is.
beautiful desert, like the rainforest with.
You could see the water ripples. Oh shit, where'd it go?
Yeah, I think this could have been a really cataclysmic event.
Yeah.
I'm
Really
not the one that thinks that it could be Atlantis, to be honest.
So the crazy part that I found out, and this is verifiable, is the CIA. Did you hear the CIA files on the Eye of the Sahara?
No.
So in the 1960s, the CIA started studying this very intently. I think it was 1965 or 1970. They conducted some secret missions, basically where aircraft were sent to the Eye of the Sahara to covertly kind of run surveillance, and they were checking also like geomagnetic anomalies. So at this point, the results of that study are completely sealed, and they won't let anybody look at it, talk about it, nothing. But yeah, there's that spillway on the south side, and you look at that structure, like this is crazy, bro.
It is.
Yeah,
Absolutely crazy.
I think
I need to look into this more.
Yeah, check it out, man.
It's wild, bro. There's a lot there, and it almost like
Mhm.
it's all around the same timelines. It's all these 12,000 year gaps almost. It's fascinating.
For now, I still hold the map that is in the background to be as most valid, because it can directly be correlated to the moon and everything. But if you make me big, or where is it? This should be. So what? It doesn't pick up my finger. That's annoying. But exactly above my head right now, that piece of land, that is Atlantis. And the reason why it is Atlantis, it's within science they tell us that Earth is in the Goldilocks zone, and it can only survive or sustain human life because it's in the Goldilocks zone. Well, if this model is correct, and this center point where you see where the North Pole is, just in the middle of the map, if that point is actually the end of an hourly dial, and this is the point where the sun and moon revolves around, and it takes 28,000 years to take a full rotation. If this does a full rotation behind me, it's so annoying. Then this piece of land that is actually above my head is in the Goldilocks zone and never freezes over. It's the one piece of land in this big realm that never freezes over. That is in the Goldilocks zone.
And where is it? Where is it? Is it accessible through Antarctica?
No, it's accessible through Australia, Africa, and South America. And the shortest is Australian, New Zealand. What was the island west of Africa? A really popular tropical island. No, that's southeast. It's probably west of Africa. There's a small island. What's it called?
Dude, I have no idea.
What are you talking? Which one?
It's a tropical island off the shore of West Africa. What's it called again?
Oh, it's called Madeira.
No, I don't think it was Madeira. Well, that is that island.
Bioko? There you go.
No, it's a really popular, but that's the closest to Atlantis.
Canary Islands or Cape Verde Islands?
Cape Verde could be it. No, Cape Verde is the southern tip. No, that's not it.
It's just West Africa. That's what you said, right?
Cabo Verde, Cape Verde. I've been to
Madagascar, right here.
No, Madagascar is.
You said west, right?
I think it was West Africa, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything here. Looks like all the islands are on the right.
No, it's probably East Africa then.
Bro, I just found an island in the middle of nowhere called Cat Hill. It's in the middle of the southern Atlantic, like halfway in between two continents. What is Cat Hill? Let me look. Cat Hill Island. There's got to be something crazy about this. It's a settlement. Uh-oh. What is this all about?
Let me check.
It has to do something military, guaranteed. Cat Hill Ascension Island. A target tracking radar station known as the golf ball was built on the site, designated for use as a base for the United States Armed Forces. Told you. It's in the middle of freaking nowhere, dude.
No. Same as French Polynesia.
What?
It's really in the middle of nowhere.
I'm going to Cat Hill.
All right,
I think it's Cape Verde.
I think it is. Right here. It's underground. They found it, see? Right here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. But that is actually the closest point to Atlantis. I think it was the Cape Verde, a tropical island from... And there are more of those tropical islands that are only accessible for the extreme wealthy.
Yeah, Cape
Why
Verde
would that
is
be?
the West, yeah.
Because it's the closest to Atlantis.
Or Epstein owns it, one or the other.
Mhm. We could call it Epstein Island.
Yeah.
I mean, we have literally back in the day we had voice conversation with pilots that were private pilots on private jets flying over land while the map said they were over ocean. For miles and miles and hours flying over land with really high roll people in it while the map said you're over water. But they were flying over land for hours. There's so much we don't.
Where was
If you,
that?
if you
Down.
look at this big island here, we don't even know that it exists. We have Australia here, but that big island doesn't exist. Nobody knows it. And if you look at all the routes for maritime and air, they avoid that place. Everything literally goes around it. Even if they have to go across it, the flight route will literally go in a circle around that place and go to the island behind it. It's insane.
Dude, right when you were pointing to that, it's insane. I actually saw a human being walk over top of it. What?
What?
Oh my
there
gosh,
they are
there's
again.
multiple. All right, I can't
There's
do this
multiple.
anymore, guys.
There's Nephilim walking around your house.
Nothing. I got ghost in the house.
Gosh.
Yeah, I need to have a green screen. That shit won't work, man.
Well, I think you can go to settings and you go to virtual background and then you can adjust the fade.
Really?
I think so.
Yeah, you can do that.
All I can choose is
Click,
I don't have a.
click virtual background.
You just have a
I
green
have.
screen.
You clicked it virtual background.
Yeah.
All right, virtual background, and then you have I have a green screen. Click that,
Mm-hmm.
and then you change the fade. Try to change the fade.
Oh, here you go. But then I'm gone.
Yeah,
Now
so
you're-
I guess you wouldn't
See if
need
your
it.
finger will work though.
That's not bad. Yeah, I need to get a green screen. That
Yeah,
shit.
get your ass green screen, dude.
I think
I know.
Amazon sells them.
They do.
The only reason why I don't get it is because I literally have to put it in the middle of the room.
There's the pop out ones, bro. They
Yeah.
fold up and pop out, and then you can just fold them back. They're this big.
I need to get one of those for Lindsay's studio.
Yeah. Just
That
do.
sounds
Just go to Amazon and search for pop out green screen.
I'm gonna search for that and rocket parts.
I already have, and yeah, wouldn't you know it, they ain't got them for some reason.
You know,
Funny
what-
enough.
what were we looking at? Like white or red magnesium or something like 2 or 3 years ago, and it's up like
Red
$40,000
mercury.
an ounce
Yeah.
or something like that.
We wanted to buy roughly 3 years ago. We could buy red mercury, and we were talking about it with Nathan, and it was, I don't know, maybe $3,000 for a gram or 100 gram or whatever it was. But now it's $40,000 for
What's
the
it
same.
used for?
Red mercury it's a special. Well, mercury in general is a special fluid. Mercury is a superconductor, super amplifier, super filter. It's literally everything in one. So if we have something to do with transmissions or switches, we always use mercury because it's so extremely sensitive. And you could literally make an antenna out of copper wire, connect it through mercury, and you can literally receive every station known to man straight out of the ether. And all that mercury does is amplify the signal that gets in and filters out all the noise.
Will it help me read my wife's mind and filter out all her noise too, or no?
I wish I was. I
Hmm.
wish I was. If only.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
I just heard her clear her throat. What? I didn't say anything about you. No.
No,
You
no,
look
no.
beautiful.
All you heard in the background was.
I know.
I heard two shotguns in the canoe are pointing at us.
She's like, she has my seed words, and she's like, "You want me to burn these?" What?
What?
All right, go. Bye. You too. All right, guys, we survived that one. Jesus.
Phew, close call.
Whew. Golly. And she's hiding around the corner listening. That's how they do it. Gosh, man.
Yeah, supposedly red mercury is what we used to use in all the cathedrals. So all the cathedral towers used to be hexagonal shaped and filled with some red mercury device. And those were actually the antennas and amplifier for our energy, all our transmission, all our communication. Because we think Wi-Fi is something new. Dude, the Wi-Fi from 200 years ago would blow your mind. Because it was literally worldwide.
So what do we need to do to reintroduce that? To get red mercury and put it in our cable box?
No, what we need to do is take over the Vatican, get all the knowledge back, and then rebuild.
All right. So we're basically going to have to be like some of the richest people in the world first, which is doable.
Mm-hmm. Or figure it out yourself, or build a university where you give young, bright people actually the chance to develop and find things out, instead of what happens now. Big corporation instantly picks all the bright minds off of universities, put them in a cubicle, give them restrictions, and this is what you need to do, and never reach the potential. Could you imagine giving bright minds, those really young bright minds at the age of 12, that could do things that we couldn't comprehend, and give them the freedom and the foundation that we had from true science? Tesla, Eric Leibowitz, the true professors of the old days that were all erased.
How ironic is it that bright minds aren't created in colleges and universities? They're born. They're born.
Exactly.
And that says a lot.
Yes.
It says a lot, man. Because it says that we have all the power to change and do everything that we want right now, and we've got all these artificial walls that are impregnating the soft mush of our brains, and it scares us into figuring things out for ourselves. Oh man, you just got me fired up, bro.
Yeah. I'm the same then. We've been talking about this for so long, and it's just beautiful to see that the Hex community is actually the same thing that we are trying to build for years now. And we thought we would never actually reach the goal, but Hexaco makes it happen because all these people want and think the same thing. It's beautiful.
It's like one of my visions for, here in the future to help people. I want to go to the projects. I want to talk to these kids that are between the ages of like 10 and 16. And I want to open up a school for them. And I want to teach them how to get their real estate license.
Exactly.
Okay. How much money are you going to make slinging dope? Okay. You might make $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year, but you'll probably get shot. Okay. Or you'll probably get arrested, or massive amounts of risk. If you put the same amount of time and effort into doing something like real estate, for example, and anybody can participate in real estate, build a book of business and carry it on, they'll be good. But here's my point. I guarantee you, in the city that I live in, when I open up this school to teach people how to empower themselves and get off the government tit, I'm going to get so much pushback. I'm going to get so much pushback because they don't want those people to have any sort of knowledge about anything. Why? Racist white man. That's what's going to be. That's the bomb that's going to be dropped. Erwin, that's the world that we live in the States. And it's just a weaponized tool by the progressive left. And it's like, this is not white. This is not black. This is just this is how the world works outside of the United States. So I'm totally expecting that to happen. And I'm prepared for that to happen because I'm going to make a whole freaking documentary on how crazy these people are while they're reacting to me trying to set this thing up. And I'm going to drop it in every single major city in the United States. And I'm going to turn them upside down. I'm going to say, look at all these kids. They don't need you. We've empowered them to do their own thing. And guess what? I didn't ask them for a dime. I didn't get a piece of their business, nothing. And guess what? They went to the school for free. They went to the school for free. And then for the next 30 or 40 years, they're going to spend time improving their communities. All right. Because they're going to understand how property works and land works and how money works and all these things happen. So, dude, I can't wait. I can't wait. And I'm going to push so hard for it. So hard. And they can't stop me. Can't stop me.
If you imagine, you should be able to build this. If you own the property and it's zoned for whatever, you should be able to do a private school and just be like, I'm paying the tuition for all my students. They don't pay anything. And that
teach kids the power of the doubling. Just doubling.
Correct.
If you teach a kid that the power of doubling, that they could literally buy something for $1, sell it for $2. Buy something for $2, sell it for $4. Do that 20 times, you have $1 million.
A penny doubled every day for 30 days is 5 million. It's like 5 million and 310,000. And you tell that to somebody like, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
What are you talking? Simple concept. No. And I'm not knocking people because here's what I remember. You know what I remember as a kid growing up? I remember as a kid growing up thinking, hearing that one of my friends is a real estate agent. I'm like, wow, I could never be a real estate agent. That's something out there on the ether. It's on a pedestal. It's like something I can't touch. And then my family says, just go get a good job at the plant down here. You're going to be good. Just make a good wage. You'll have benefits and stuff. Work 30 or 40 years and you can coast and chill after that. That's just a real estate agent. A real estate agent is nothing. Anybody can do that like in a week, in a crash course for a week with $300 or $400. Bing, bang, boom. You're a real estate agent. But they don't want people knowing that. All right. I remember thinking lawyers, unattainable. Dude, one of my things is one of these days I might just start studying, take 2 years, pass the bar without going to school. That's a flex. This is attainable. This is the types of things that a bright mind can do. Any kid could do that if they really wanted. So, I mean, it's like we got to open the door to the possibilities of what people can do, anybody can do in poor situations, because those pictures aren't painted. Those pictures not painted to these children anymore. They really aren't. And it's sad, man. It's really sad.
Yeah, but the only thing they are painted right now is rainbows, lollipops and fancy pants, and I don't know what other bullshit.
You can be anything you want to be, but they leave out one part. If you work your ass off. That's the part, because they teach these kids that it's due to them. Like they are supposed to have it. It's due to them. Somebody owes it to them. And it's a completely different mindset, thinking that somebody owes you something rather than thinking that it's possible, but you got to work your ass off.
Yeah.
And that's the difference in my mind.
Yeah. They tell you can be anything you want to be. How about just being yourself?
Yeah.
Instead of being created in something else.
Yeah. I remember, do you remember that catchphrase, Adam, where it says, be all that you can be? Be all that you can be in the Army. And then they had an offshoot. It was in the Army. And then it said reserves.
Yeah. I remember those commercials being like, you would watch them, you're like, oh my God, is this like the new Tom Hanks Rainbow Six video? Or is this a commercial for the Marine?
I know, dude.
That's funny.
And they were so cool. You watch them, you're like, oh my God, I want to do that.
I remember those, dude. Oh.
Awesome.
We're wasting your time, man. If you get Erwin on here, it's just a waste of massive amount of time.
Yeah, man, you're losing brain cells now.
Well, he's gonna be like, "What are you doing? Why do you have rocket parts over there?" Like, oh, nothing. I was talking to Erwin earlier.
Yeah. Why do you have a balloon the size of your backyard? What's happening here, dude? What's happening?
The drink.
Why is it tied down with 7 chains?
Yeah, what's that? It's a whale, dude. It's not a balloon. It's a whale condom. Get it right, guys. Get it right.
Yeah, that's what all the satellites are.
I'm a marine biologist. Yeah. All right, I got people saying, "Rags, are you going live right now?" And I can't be like, "Well, it's Adam's fault and Erwin's fault." No. You guys
just
let
jump
me go
over
here.
to your stream. Perfect.
I think I don't have anything to talk about today. I'm just going to go live and make fun of chat.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's I'll just say flat Earth one time and you'll have something to talk about.
You're right. I'll bring Crypto Heartbeat on. Y'all need to stop it with him.
I stopped.
All right. Okay.
I stopped.
Erwin's poking the bear. Like, Matt, don't fall for it.
The last time he had the post with NASA, I thought, okay, maybe I need to do it differently. So all I did was post one thing and post everything in my own thread. And everything I posted were memes based off the Bible, where the Bible perfectly describes what it is. And since he wants to uphold the Bible so much, I thought maybe this would help. And I haven't said anything since.
Look at Erwin. He's acting like he's trying to help. That dude ain't trying to help. He's a bully. He's a troll.
I know. It's just because I've seen so much development within people that are bright-minded. And let's take what's it, the energy guys again?
Mad Energy.
Mad Energy. I'm gonna be really simple. If you believe that you're on a spinning ball, you will never figure it out. And that is facts upon facts, because you will always be constrained within a narrative that they gave you, and you will never figure it out. Once you let that shit go, then all of a sudden true science makes sense again. Because what we're doing right now is copying evolutionary pseudoscience on top of real science. And all we do is go into the theoretical and build upon theories, upon theories, upon theories, upon theories, forgetting the fundamentals where it's actually derived from.
There you have it.
That's the perfect place to cut it, so Rags can head on to his stream, and I can go get my rocket parts and get
Rocket Boy.
Well, first, if you want to pay for it, you need to go at least 100x leverage on Luna. Otherwise, you could never pay for it.
Luna Classic.
Luna Classic, 100x.
Yeah,
I staked it. I gave up with the leverage. I'm just, this is a long-term play.
Did you stake it with Habib from Telegram?
Dude, it's Thomas.
Oh gosh, I'm not. I can't discuss
this. Too.
Vibra Finance, the future of crypto.
All your Luna for a long time.
How many people do we have watching this garbage right now? How many people are watching?
Probably not a lot.
There's 15 in the chat right now.
15?
15?
Unbelievable.
Half of them left about a half hour ago.
I figured.
Yeah, of course I went in. That's normal.
So there was over 30 at one point. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Negative. We're in a bear market.
Mm-hmm. No, we're not.
I'll let you
No.
guys go.
Be good, guys.
Be good. Have a good one.
Well,
All right.
later, guys.
Later.
Oh yeah, that was great.
That was freaking funny. I love Rex. Golly.
He's the man.
Mhm.
All right, guys. If you're not subscribed, like, subscribe. Actually, don't share this one out. That'll probably get us banned.
Don't share this one. Just forget about it.
Yeah. That's all right. Well, that's why we're here, though. We're not in this to make money or get clout. This is all just fun.
We're having fun. Exactly.
You know, we're having fun and build together.
Exactly.
Awesome, guys. Well, we will see you tomorrow night. Hex News at 9 p.m. with Lindsay and I'm not sure who else. Can't remember right now. Got too many other things on my mind. All right,
Thanks
everyone.
for having me, brother.
All right, buddy.
Always a pleasure.
See you guys.
Take care.
At Vibra Finance, we seek out the hidden gems in cryptocurrency. We will tailor your portfolio to work for you. Are you ready to transition your investments from traditional markets to cryptocurrency? Are your coins staked and earning interest? Are you overwhelmed with all the jargon in crypto? Is your portfolio underperforming and you want to reposition into consistent winning blue chip coins and viable projects? Do you feel like you missed out on DeFi, Metaverse, and NFTs? Here at Vibra Finance, we provide you with the data, skills, and tools you need to stay on top of the digital asset market. Vibra Finance, we are the future of crypto.